So now we'll be continuing the example session for direction sense test. So we're done with one theory session and one example session for direction sense test. Now we are basically just continuing this example session. So it's not that we are doing too many more questions, it's just that, you know, the explanation for these questions takes a bit more time. So direction sense test, in that sense, you know, it is a chapter that might require some time for you to understand, but not a lot. It's just that, you know, for all other intelligence chapters, it's very easy. Direction sense test will come somewhere between easy to medium in terms of difficulty, right? I would actually call it medium, not easy, medium, right? But that doesn't mean it's difficult. I mean, once you go through the theory is not a lot, but if you just go through the theory well and also do questions well, it's fine. You're all good to go. Okay, so starting with our example 7. So basically we have done examples till example 7. So not starting, I would say continuing. We are at example 7 now. Okay. A direction pole was situated on a road crossing. Due to an accident, the pole turned such that the pointer which was showing east started showing south. Sita, a traveler, went to the wrong direction thinking it to be west. In which direction was she actually traveling? Okay, so basically there was a direction pole. What is a direction pole? It's okay, I'm not sure. So it's something that looks like this. Again, I'm very bad at drawing, but essentially something that looks like this, and it shows you the direction, like what direction is this and what direction is this, things like this. Okay, it tells you which direction it is. So there was such a direction pole, but due to an accident, the pole basically turned. Okay, so these are the pointers. So, you know, it might be that this might show east and this might show west or something, but due to this accident, the pole turned such that the pointer which was showing east started showing south. Okay, so there was a pointer which was supposed to show east, right? So ideally the pointer is supposed to show east, but due to some issues it started showing south. So what does this mean? Basically the direction which is east. So okay, let's draw. This is east, south, north, west, right? This direction which is east became south. Okay, so this started showing, so this direction sort of became south. Now what is the question? The question is, Sita, a traveler, went to the wrong direction thinking it to be west. So Sita looked at the pole, you know, found out what west was and went in that direction, but that was not actually west. We need to find out what was west. So for that, first, okay, so here basically east became south. We try to find, so east is the direction which the pointer showed initially, right? So if east, try to find a relationship between east and west. What is it? They are opposites, right? So if east is on this side, west is on that side. So now, okay, what happened is Sita looked at west direction as per this new direction. So see, so this was the new direction basically. Okay, I think this might be a bit confusing for you. I'll just draw this here. The actual east was shown as south. Okay, so what will the actual west be shown as? North. Okay, so the actual west will be shown as north. Now what will be the actual south be shown as? Will it be shown as east or as west? That is the question that we have, right? So one way to figure this out is basically, if I have south here, I want to know what I'll have here. Okay, just try doing this. From the south, draw a okay, south to west, it is clockwise. Do you get that? So this is something that we've actually done in other questions also. For these cardinal directions compass, what you can do is find how do you get, so from south, if you go in the clockwise direction, you reach west. Okay, so I hope you remember what clockwise is. I have explained this in about 2 topics, but yeah, this is basically clockwise direction, the direction in which the clock moves, and the opposite of that is anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so now from south, if you go in the clockwise direction, what you see is west. So here also in this new south, What do we mean by this bracket? It's basically the direction that happened because the pole turned, right? So the new south, if you go in the clockwise direction, this becomes west. Like we just saw here, south becomes west. So this new south will also be the new west. Okay. So basically Sita went to the wrong direction thinking it to be west. In which direction? The question is, in which direction was she actually traveling? So basically Sita thought this direction was west, but what direction is it actually? It is south. That's it. We've gotten our answer. So all we needed to do was we wanted to get a correlation between the actual direction and the new direction. So that we already have, that east becomes south. So then what we wanted to find is, if east becomes south, what will west become? All that we wanted to find. So we got to know that, not what will west become. If east becomes south, what becomes west? That is what, because Sita thought that the direction was west. So when will Sita think a direction is something? Because Sita is only seeing the pole. She does not know the actual directions, right? So this is the direction as per the pole, new. Okay, this is the direction as per the new pole, and this is the actual direction. So now Sita saw this pole direction and she thought it is west. So the actual direction was south. And so you have gotten your answer. So this is fairly easy. The only thing is the confusion that people have in this kind of question is, so they draw east here, west here, and then they're confused. So if it's south here and north here, they think, okay, should this be east or should this be west? It's a bit confusing for them. So you just look at the clockwise, anti-clockwise system and you're good to go. Okay, moving on. If southwest becomes north, then what will northeast be? Okay, so for this again we draw our cardinal directions. I just cannot draw anything properly. This is better. Okay, so north. Basically you have that southwest. So where will southwest be? It will be somewhere here, right, between south and west. So southwest becomes north. Okay, so this southwest has become north. Basically your north is somewhere here. Your north has become here. My question is, what will northeast be? So basically this is northeast, right? This is how northeast is. I want to find out what is this direction going to be. Do you find a correlation? How is southwest and northeast related? They are opposites to each other, right? So if southwest is here, northeast is basically the opposite direction. So what you need to do is basically just find the opposite of north. What's the opposite of north? South, right? North and south are opposite directions. If north is here, then south is here. So between southwest and northeast, you've basically got an opposite direction. So northeast will, okay, just give me a second. Yeah, so northeast will be south. And that's it, and you're done. So most of these questions where, they shift up the directions, it usually is opposite. Like you just need to find whatever direction is opposite to the given direction. That's how most of these questions are. It works that way, but yeah. So this is how you find it. So you know that southwest is northeast. So you just draw southwest as north and then you try to find the relationship between southwest and northeast. You figure out that these are opposites and so you know that north becomes south and you're done. Okay, moving on. A woman walks 4 kilometers towards west, then turns to, it should be her right here. Okay, anyway. A woman or man then turns to her right. Okay, this has to be her right. Okay, a woman walks 4 kilometers towards west, then turns to her right and moves 4 kilometers. After this, she turns right once again and walks for another 4 kilometers. Which choice given below indicates the correct direction in which she is from the starting point? Okay, so basically, a woman walks 4 kilometers towards west. I'll draw these cardinal directions again. I think, once I take a lot of classes for you guys, my drawing will gradually get better because there's like a lot of drawing that I'm doing. Okay. Anyway, so she walks 4 kilometers towards west. West is this direction, right? So let's see, the woman is here. She walks 4 kilometers in this direction. Then turns to her right. Now, okay. I hope you guys will have watched the first example session. You know, you won't watch the second example session without watching the first example session, right? So let me know if you remember how to find out, like, okay, so you have the woman here, you need to find the right of the woman. I had told you two ways in which you can find right and left of a person who's in like a certain position. So let me know if you remember. You can't let me know, but yeah, just say it out loud, the two methods that I had told you, and also just say out loud the method that you prefer. Okay, I'll give you some time, you can think about it. So yeah. There were basically two methods. Yeah, so just tell me those two methods and also what you find more convenient. Right, okay, time's up. So the two methods, I really wish I could, hear your responses, but yeah. So anyway, and also I hope you guys are saying these responses. I mean, a lot of times I just pause and ask you guys questions. I give you the time so that you can actually answer. You have time to actually think and answer. So please do that. Okay. So basically, the two methods which I said was, one, you envision yourself in the position of the woman. You just imagine that, okay, I am the one standing here. So from this position, I walked like this. Now I'm standing here. So when you're standing here, you're basically facing this direction, right? So I'm standing here facing this direction, and I just think, where is my right? My right is here. Okay. So this woman's right it will be here. Okay. That's how we find out. You just imagine that you are the woman in that position. Now another way is, this is sort of like a trick. Basically what you do is, I'll just erase this. Yeah, so the direction in which the woman is facing, you draw a line and you keep that as north. Now if you want to find the right, you find the east direction. If you want to find the left, you find the west direction. Okay, so now how do you get the east? Basically, if you go clockwise from north, the first direction that you see is the east. So basically go clockwise, this direction is the east, and so you get that this is the right. Okay, there are two ways. So these were the two ways. You can use whatever you think is convenient to you. Although I would suggest you to use, into the first method that I said, where you envision yourself in the position of the woman. You imagine, okay, this is me, I am standing in the position of the woman, how would I deal with this? The reason why I think that's a better way is, it improves your thinking skills. Like here, what I said about the direction being north and then finding east, it's sort of, you sort of like mug up things, right? It's about by-hearting. But when you actually put yourself in the position of this woman and just imagine, okay, if I was here, where will I be? It helps with a lot of skills. When may it be spatial ability, or just, I don't exactly know what skill comes under, but it helps because you're imagining yourself on this piece of paper, right? So it really helps. So I would suggest you to start using method 1, but if method 2 is what works, well and good. Okay, not an issue. Basically, your woman, okay, so she turns right, and wait, so she walked towards west, then she turns right and moves 4 kilometers, right? So that would be something like this. Okay, after this, she turns right once again. So now the woman is standing here. Basically, she's facing front like this. So her right will be here, and she walks for another 4 kilometers. So she has reached here. Which choice given below indicates the correct direction in which she is from the starting point? So this was her starting point. This is her ending point. Where is she from? If you check from the starting point, she's basically to the north, right? So, oh wait, what are you asked? Indicates the correct direction in which she is from the starting point. So from the starting point, if you see, she's at the north now, right? If you look from the starting point, she's basically at the north. Now, so the answer is A, north. Okay, you're done with that. Moving on, if A is to the north of B, B is to the west of C, and C is to the south of D, then in which direction is D with respect to A? Okay. So basically, you're given that A is to the north of B. How do you draw that? You have A, you have B, right? This is how it is. Why do you mean A is to the north of B? Basically, from B, if you draw something to the north, you see A there. Okay? A is to the north of B. B is to the west of C. So that means from C, if you go to the west, okay, this is wrong. Basically, from C, if you go to the west, you will find B. This is what it means when you say B is to the west of C. From C, when you go west, you find B. Okay, and C is also, okay, no, B is to the west of C, C is to the south of D. So from D, if I go south, I will find C. Then in which direction is D with respect to A? What is this direction? D is to the east of A. Okay, so east. So I hope you guys understand what we mean when we say something is to the direction of something. So when I say A is to the north of B, what I mean is from B, if I draw a line to the north, I will find A there. Okay, so that is what, so A is to the north of B means from B, if I look north, if I stand at B and look north, I will find A there. Okay, so basically you have also gotten this. Which direction is D with respect to A? We have gotten east. Okay, moving on. Vipul walks northward 10 meters. He turns left and walks 30 meters. Then he again turns left. All these people just walk so much. I am the laziest person when it comes to walking, but it's good. You guys should walk. It's good for your health. But I just can't. I'm just very lazy. I need to work on it. Okay. Then he turns left and walks 50 meters. That is also why, when I do direction sense questions, it's very motivating for me because I see all these people walking, turning directions so many times, and I'm like, why can't I do this? So this is very motivating. Direction sense test, I call it the motivating chapter for me personally. So motivating chapter. Okay, then he again turns left and walks 50 meters. Then how much distance has Vipul traveled? Okay, basically Vipul, you give a V here. Northward 10 meters. Okay, I'll draw this again. Vipul walks northward 10 meters. Then he turns left. So this is basically the left of Vipul. And he walks 30 meters. Okay. Then he again turns left. So what will be the left from this position? Basically, just imagine yourself in this position. You're standing here facing this direction. Basically, you're facing this direction. Your left is here, right? This is my right, this is my left. So this will be your left. He turns left and he walks 50 meters. Just draw an even longer line because it's left. Okay, then how much distance has Vipul traveled? Now here, one second, he has walked 50 meters. So here, a mistake a lot of people make is they try to find the shortest distance because shortest distance is a concept that we have, right? Under direction sense test, you have the concept of shortest distance and you solve the questions using Pythagoras theorem. Okay, just give me a second. I'll try to, I'll draw this a bit here. Okay. Let it be till here. Okay, so shortest distance is basically a concept that you have and you try to find it using Pythagoras theorem, and it's a concept that you will be prepared with. So when you see a question like this which asks for distance, there is a tendency that you try to just find the shortest distance, and you'll be like, okay, here I can draw the hypotenuse, and then here I can draw this, and then you can try to find the square root, whatever this is the formula, right? C square is A square plus B square, and then you try to find it, but all of this is not needed. This answer can actually be found very easily without using all of that, and in fact using this Pythagoras theorem is wrong in this situation. Here it is wrong. Why is this wrong? Because you have not been asked to find the shortest distance, or you have not been asked to find how far. If you are asked things like how far is Vipul from his initial position, or if Vipul travels from his house to his school, and you're asked how far is Vipul from his house, in that case you find the shortest distance. Why? Because like I said earlier, basically if you're asked for the distance, like if somebody asks you how far is your house from from the hospital, right? So there might be two routes. There might be one route which takes a lot of time, and then another route which is very straightforward. So what do you say? You are supposed to, I mean, I don't know what you guys will say, but you're supposed to say the straightforward route. You're supposed to say by whatever way you reach the fastest, right? So when somebody asks for distance, that is what they expect to hear, the fastest distance. So that's what you're supposed to say. So here also, but here what you're asked is how much distance has Vipul traveled. So this Vipul guy, he could have walked like this, but he did all the efforts and he walked so much. He wants to know how much distance he has traveled. He does not want to know, okay, say there's an easier way of just, I don't know, just like 40 meters. Right, but he did not walk this path, right? How much distance did he travel? So when you're asked how much distance has Vipul traveled, you need to find the distance he traveled. Basically go through the path he traveled and calculate the distance. You have to do that, because this poor Vipul, he walked so much, and if you just go to him and say, you know what, you only walked for 40 meters, he'll feel very insulted because he took so much time, he walked so much. You cannot belittle that, right? So I mean, he did so much work. We need to give him I mean, you have to congratulate him for that, and also tell him the actual distance. So how much distance has Vipul traveled? What do? You just add all of this. It's that's it, simple addition. So first he traveled 10 meter, right? So 10, and then he traveled 30 meters plus 30, and then he traveled another 50 meters. Okay, so that's 50. So first he traveled 10 meters, then he turned left and he walked 30 meters, then he turned left and walked another 50 meters. So basically the distance he has traveled is 0 plus 0 plus 0, 0, 3 plus 1, 4, 4 plus 5, 9. 90 meters. That is the distance he has traveled. So when you ask for the distance, you need to find the actual distance that the person has traveled. But if you're asked for things like how far is the person from the initial position, or what is the distance, then you find the shortest distance. So that is where you use the shortest distance concept. I hope you guys remember the shortest distance concept. Yeah, this is it, right? So basically the shortest distance can be found using this formula. Okay, so that's how you do this question. The reason I included this question is at the very end is because, you know, I wanted to do, we did enough shortest distance questions, right? So I wanted to see if you guys will see this question and think, okay, this is from shortest distance, right? So this was sort of an experimental question. Not experimental, but this was something to test you guys. Okay, anyway, so we're done with that. I'll just take you through a very quick idea of what all you have in direction sense test. Basically you have the 4 main cardinal directions, and then you also have the sub directions, basically northeast, southeast, all of that, southwest, northwest. You have that, and then you have the shortest distance, this concept, how you find the shortest distance, and then you have the angle of movement, where you need to know about clockwise and anti-clockwise movements. And then what else do you have? You also have the concept of shadow. Basically the shadow will be in the opposite direction. So if the sun rises in the east, the shadow will fall in the west. If the sun sets in the west, the shadow will fall in the east, right? This concept. So that is all that you have in direction sense test, and we have done a lot of questions. So now we are finally done with the chapter. We had, I think we had 2 theory sessions and now 2 example sessions also. I think this is our first chapter where we are having 2 example sessions. So yeah, that's it, and we are done with direction sense test.